Hello, everybody. Today on our Firewall chat, I'm excited to be joined by Matt from SpiderOak and the Digital Privacy Alliance. Good morning, Matt.
Hello.
So first of all, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about the Digital Privacy Alliance and the work that you do there?
Well, the Digital Privacy Alliance is a not-for-profit set up to help push forward online consumer privacy rights. Everything from legislation in state houses to helping companies that want to do better by their customers actually do better.
Great. Well, thanks for the work you do there, and we appreciate you joining us today to talk a little bit about some security things in the news. So one of the big stories this week has been President Trump's Twitter disappeared for a few minutes. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there and why it happened?
Yeah, so on apparently their last day of the job, a Twitter, now ex-Twitter employee, deleted President Trump's Twitter feed. It was restored in, I believe, 11 minutes, but for 11 minutes, it was gone. I think it's pretty interesting as it really underscores the power that a lot of online platforms have over you. Regardless of your opinions on the president, if you happen to like him, you can see what happens when somebody with opposing views has control over your data. And if you don't like him and found this amusing, imagine what happens if somebody with opposing political views deleted one of your icons. It's kind of troubling with how much power that is had with these platforms, and this really underscores that.
So do we know very many details about how this was, how this happened or how this employee was able to do this?
This was a customer service person, I believe, and they simply had the power to do this. That's kind of what you get these days, a lot of online services. You have a lot of people in the organization having essentially God mode powers over your data on the system. In an extreme case, regardless of what you think of them, Edward Snowden was a system administrator who simply had administrator access to everything, copied everything to a disk and walked out. No special hacking skills needed for that.
So from a business standpoint, if you're a business owner, how do you protect your organization against things like this happening or employees going rogue, something like that?
Well, that's a very good question. Traditionally, the method has been auditing and tooling to either try and catch something in the moment and stop it, or figure out what happened after the fact. Really, the only key way to do this is what's called decentralized authority, where essentially people are only given the authority and ability to perform the actions that they actually need to do their job. And in cases that could be destructive or disruptive to a business, require possibly even more than one person to sign off on it before it can be done.
So that's a really important concept, that decentralized authority. In terms of like SpiderOak, how do we approach this and what steps are we taking to make sure that our apps are protected by decentralized authority?
Well, for example, our system administrators can't actually see your data on any of our products. They can't see any data backed up with SpiderOak 1. And on Semaphore, while they do know who you are and what teams you're in, channels are just random strings of numbers as far as we're concerned. And within your organization, if using Semaphore, your system administrators can't see everything. Yes, they can add people into teams. Yes, they can remove people from teams. But for example, there's no reason why a system administrator should be able to see, for example, communications between a CEO and their board. That data is typically highly sensitive and quite confidential, and there's no reason that people without the need to know should know.
In fact, I was writing a story about Semaphore earlier this week, and the person I was talking to asked me what kind of channels we have in Semaphore. It was funny, I could share the channels that I'm in, but I couldn't share any of the other channels because, from firsthand experience, you only really know about the channels you're in. I know there are other channels I'm not in, but I don't know what they are or what's in them.
Yeah, and that's With SpiderOak products, with Semaphore, that is cryptographically enforced. So it is mathematically impossible for you to be seeing what's in channels that you're not a member of.
Okay. All right. I think that later in a future chat, we'll be able to come back to this and talk more in depth. But I think decentralized authority is a really important concept, especially in a world where, one rogue employee can delete the president's Twitter account. I think this is something that businesses really need to concentrate on and make efforts to make sure that there's no God mode that random employees can use.
Exactly.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on this, Matt?
Just make sure that you know who you can trust.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll be back with another Firewall chat next week.